Hi there, this is Harry, and welcome back to Advanced English Lessons with Harry, where I try to help you get a better understanding of the English language. And I always try to include something or topics that you have asked me to give you some more information about because you might be having some difficulties. And in this particular lesson, we're going to look at small talk. And small talk is really, really important. Now, in some parts of the world, they have outlawed small talk because it is seen as non-PC and you can't engage people in small talk in elevators. So we're not telling you that you should start chatting to strangers in elevators or unusual places, but it's still really, really relevant and really, really important before those meetings you have on Teams or Google Meets where you've got your colleagues. And for lots of you, this is the problem area of English. You understand the English more or less that you need to use in your particular discipline, whether it's in the IT field or medicine or whatever it might be. You do understand the particular language that you need to use. But when it comes to small talk, this is when the problems begin, okay? And these type of topics that we're going to cover now are very simple topics, simple to me, but not necessarily simple to you because you need to understand how to get in, how to get out of a particular conversation. Now, one of the tricks is if you've got somebody who likes to talk, and in every organization and every team there are real talkers. So all you need to do is light the fuse and stand back and off they go. Yeah. So if you know the correct questions to ask, well, then you can ask these questions and then they'll take over and they might respond and ask you a couple of questions and you can make some small comments. But these questions will be important because you can participate in the conversation, participate in the small talk without necessarily having to speak non-stop for 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so hopefully these type of topics will help you. Okay, so this is going to be a long lesson, so we'll take some breaks, but just stick with it, practice them, listen, use the phrases. They're very, very simple, and see how you can help yourself to introduce yourself into that area of small talk. Okay, so the first topic, and I've split this particular lesson into various topics of small talk. So the first one we're going to look at is to get to know someone that you've just met or you don't know so well. So it could be a new colleague or some member of the team that you really haven't had time to talk to apart from business issues. So these are the sort of questions and phrases you can use and how you can get to know them a little bit better. So first thing might be, and where are you from? So if somebody asks, and where are you from? So this is about asking somebody their origin or their hometown. So you might just simply say, I'm from America, or I'm from England, or I'm from somewhere in Europe. But an example of a typical reply would be, oh, well, I'm originally from Edinburgh in Scotland. Okay, so you could answer it in that way. And then when you've answered it, the automatic response for you is, and where are you from? Yeah, so you give your answer to the question and then you follow it with the question, and where are you from? And this will give the other person the opportunity to tell you about their hometown, their city, or their place of birth. Okay, so where are you from? So you answer, well, originally I'm from Edinburgh in Scotland, and where are you from? Next easy question is about the job you do and the work you do. So if this person isn't in your company and you don't really know them, perhaps you're meeting them at a school reunion or parent-teachers meeting and you're having a cup of coffee. So they might ask you, and what do you do for a living? So here they're asking you what your occupation or what your profession happens to be. What do you do for a living? Okay, and the simple reply would be, well, I'm a software engineer, or I work in the IT field, or I'm in the medical field, or whatever your particular title might be. Sometimes people are a little bit shy and they don't want to boast about, oh, I'm a professor in university. So they might just simply say, I work in the university. Or they don't want to say, I'm a surgeon. Oh, I work in the hospital. I'm in the medical field. Or, an IT engineer or a programmer. And just give basic information as to the particular job that they do. And again, very similar to the first question. Once you've answered the question, then of course you can respond. And what do you do? And what work are you in, or what line of work are you in? So there's several ways in which you can ask that particular question. And all of those questions, again, will give the person that you're talking to an opportunity to explain what they do. And sometimes people will just continue there because they like to talk about themselves and they like to talk about the job that they do. Do you have any hobbies or interests? So again, this is just a very general question about what you do when you're not working. Do you have any hobbies or interests? So this is all about asking somebody about leisure activities, things that they do or what they enjoy doing when they're not working. Oh, I love playing the guitar, or I'm really into hiking, or I like nothing better than to get on my bike and go out into the hills or cycle around the park at the weekend. So here you're able to expand in simple ways about the hobbies that you have. And what about you? What do you do? Yeah, so again, here it's a very simple question. And what about you? What sort of activities do you have? What do you do in your leisure time? What do you do in your free time? What do you do in your downtime? So all of these will be very similar ways of asking somebody, what do they do when they're not working? And then once you start chatting to somebody in this way, the conversation will open it up a little bit. You get the sense that you know the person a little more and they know you a little more. And then you might start asking them about recent movies or TV shows that they have watched or something that they might recommend. Have you seen any good movies or series on TV recently? So again, it's a very broad question, opening up the opportunity for them to tell you something they've seen or something that they are currently watching. Oh, well, I've just finished watching that series on TV, The Crown. Have you seen it? Oh, it's really good. You should watch it. If you haven't seen it, I would really recommend it. So here the person opens up about a TV series that they've been watching on Netflix or some other subscriber channel, and then they get the opportunity to explain it to you. And if you say, oh, no, I haven't seen it, what's it about? Then, of course, they'll give you 10-minute monologue about, what The Crown is all about, what the other series is about, why you should watch it, and their opinion, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. And then you can follow up once they've finished speaking about that. You can say, and have you watched anything else recently? Oh, is there something in the movies that you would recommend? I'm not a real movie goer, but I think I'll go this weekend. Is there anything that you think I should watch? Yeah. Again, looking for some recommendations. People then sort of develop into something a little bit more personal, not deeply personal, of course. So they may start talking about food habits. So what's your favorite type of food? What food do you like to eat? Or the cuisine you prefer? So again, just asking you whether it's Indian, Italian, Mexican, whatever it might be. And this is all about asking culinary preferences. So if you want to lead with this, then you can just simply say, and what's your favorite type of food? And of course, then they say, oh, I really love, or I'm really into Italian food. In fact, myself and my wife have just been on a cookery course. So that gives you the opportunity to say, oh, wow, that sounds interesting. And what was it like? And again, that allows them to tell you how good or bad or what they're doing. And, maybe they're telling you, oh, we're cooking, or it appears that we're cooking Italian food every night. Okay, so once you've asked that question, then they might respond and say, well, what's your favorite dish, or what's your favorite cuisine? And you can give them a little bit of information. Perhaps you're a cooking fanatic, perhaps you like cooking. And you say, well, yeah, I'm really into cooking, and I cook everything and anything, but my favorite food is Asian food. So again, without giving away the crown jewels or the state information or secrets, you're able to extend the conversation, you're able to expand on the questions, and you're able to enjoy and join in on the particular conversation. Then, as most people, particularly men, they'll start talking about sport. Have you any sports that you play, or have you any particular sports that you're interested in? And in most cases, particularly in Europe, most people will be into football. They either play it, watch it, or they go to the pub to watch it, or they have their team they follow week in, week out. So once the conversation gets into sport, there's no end the number of questions that you might be asked and that you can ask. So if you're asking them, well, are you into any particular sport? And football, for example. Oh, football, I absolutely love it. So then they start talking about football and you say, oh, great. And what's your team? Which team do you support? Well, I'm a United supporter, or I'm a City supporter, or I follow Milan, or my favorite team is PSG. So they'll give the name of the team, and perhaps then you could ask the question on how long have you been supporting that team? And then they'll tell you, oh, since I was a boy, or since somebody took me to the game a few years ago, I just got hooked on it, and I can watch it on television, or I really enjoy going to the games because there's a great atmosphere. So this then opens up the conversation more about other sports. Perhaps they may be interested in tennis. They may say, well, I'm not really a sports fanatic. I'll watch something if it's on the TV, and of course the kids like to watch it, but I'm more into cycling and walking or jogging, or in fact, I'm planning to run the marathon next year. So again, that opens up a whole new area of discussion. So again, every question that you ask will have a counter question that they will ask, and then the conversation will develop. Okay, so that's all just about getting to know somebody that you didn't know so well, and these questions will give you an entree into understanding them, and it will kill a few minutes. So a simple question about where you're from, question about what you do for a living, your hobbies, your interests, your interest in terms of movies or TV shows, your sports activities that you enjoy, and perhaps what you like to eat, where you like to eat, and what type of cuisine perhaps that you like to cook. So all really interesting topics, how to get to know someone that you don't know so well or that you've just met. Okay, so let's look at the second topic, and these are just casual questions that we might use in small talk. Okay, so if we're referring to the TV, or particularly these new box series that have been on the Netflix and other TV lines for many, many years, this is a great way of starting conversations. So the typical phrase might be, did you catch the latest episode of this particular TV show? So did you catch the latest episode of The Crown? Did you catch the latest episode of Suits? Did you catch the latest episode of Succession? Whatever the in box set happens to be. So did you catch the latest episode of The Good Wife? So the reply might be, yes, I did. It was a great episode. Did you see it? And if you did, what did you think? And so somebody might say, yeah, it was great. It's really getting exciting. So the conversation then gets into the fact that this is coming to a climax and that you're expecting something exciting to happen. And then they might ask about holidays. So it could be just simply the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. It could be a holiday weekend because there's an extra holiday on the Friday or the Monday. Or indeed, it might be that you are starting your own annual holidays on Friday evening. So they might simply say, have you been on any holidays recently? So that's a very open question. Have you been on any holidays recently? So you're just asking, has somebody taken a holiday? Have they traveled recently? And if they have, where did they go? Okay, so this again opens up the opportunity for them to tell you, well, yeah, actually, I'm just back from a holiday, and they'll tell you where it was. And then you can say, oh, I've never been. What's it like? Would you recommend it? So again, simple questions that you can ask. So if we get on to just general things, perhaps you've decided that you're going to buy a new laptop, or you're changing your mobile phone, so you're going to upgrade it. Okay, so this can generate interesting conversations in the way of small talk. So you might be interested to know which particular model you will buy. So if you ask somebody their opinion, you say, well, I just changed my phone 2 months ago. What I was really interested in was the new camera. I was really interested if they had changed the battery life of the phone, or if there was any interesting developments in relation to how the apps appear on the phone and other apps that you can get. So somebody might just explain to you if they know a little bit more about IT and technology than you do. They will start telling you what things to look out for. And the same when we talk about food. Restaurants are everybody's delight. Every city that you've ever visited, people will tell you which restaurant to go, which street it's located in, which cuisine you should go for. Yeah. So if you're new in a city or you're visiting a city for the first or second time, it's always a great way to have small talk by asking somebody, are there any restaurants that you'd recommend? I'm going there on business, but I'm going to be staying over the weekend, and my wife or husband are going to fly in and join me. So it'd be great if I had a couple of restaurants that I know people have been to. And of course, they say, oh, yeah, that's no problem at all. I'm a real foodie, so I've got a couple of restaurants. Give me your email details and I'll send you the information. So again, an easy way into the conversation. Or you might just simply ask, have you tried any good restaurants lately? Or are there any new restaurants that have opened lately or recently that you would recommend? I always like to get a recommendation. I don't like to be disappointed, particularly when it comes to food. So you're looking for somebody to recommend a particular place that you can go to. Now, when you're sitting down at a table, you might be on your own having coffee. Somebody might come up to you and say, may I join you? Or if they reverse, you're looking for a place to sit down, you're in a cafe and there's a table and there's only one person sitting there. Well, then an easy way just to ask is, may I join you? And may I join you simply is a polite way in which to approach somebody. Perhaps it's in the office canteen, perhaps it's in the cafe around the corner. It's very busy. You're looking for a place to sit. There seems to be nobody else but this one person at the table. So it's an easy way to ask, may I join you? And the person usually say, help yourself. Be my guest. Yeah. Or you can say, is this seat taken? No, fire away, just sit down. In fact, I'm going to go in a few minutes. So this is a way small talk conversations can start. So in every small talk conversation that I've ever had with people I don't really know or I've met for the first time, invariably the question of weather comes up, particularly when they find out which country you're from. So if you come from a very hot country, a very cold country, a very wet country, then the conversation will come around to weather, and to how the weather is where you come from. Okay, so when we talk about weather-related small talk, let's look at a few of the phrases that you can use. Very simple. Isn't the weather lovely today? Or isn't the weather terrible today? So positively, isn't the weather lovely today? A positive remark about the current weather conditions. So if you're replying to a positive, isn't the weather lovely today? Then the reply can be, oh yeah, it's such a beautiful day. In fact, I'm thinking of going for a walk when the conference is over. Or if the weather is bad, can you believe the weather? Gee, it's terrible. Yeah. So I know it's so unpredictable, but hopefully it's going to stay sunny for the weekend, or hopefully the rain will disappear by the weekend, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to go out. And if you don't know what the weather is like, perhaps you're a visitor in town, you might ask the person, do you know what the forecast is for the week? I'm here for the whole week, and I really would like the opportunity to get out and have a couple of walks or rent a bike and cycle, because I really like to get out on a bike. Yeah, so have you heard the forecast this week? And the response might be, no, I haven't. It's supposed to rain late in the week from what I hear, but you never know. The weather here can change from day to day. So again, easy way to get in and out of that sort of conversation. Oh, it's so miserable today. Have you seen that rain outside? Oh, and it's so cold. There's a bitter wind blowing. So again, negative remarks to reflect on the weather conditions that are there. Even though you're in the comfort of the hotel or the office, the weather outside doesn't really look so inviting. And the answer to that might be, yeah, it's really a grey, damp, dull day. Yeah, it's not really a day for going out for a walk. And somebody might just simply, yes, a day for the ducks. Yeah, so lots of rain, lots of water, a day for the ducks. Or they might just give you a greeting like, how's the weather been treating you lately? what's the weather like in your home city? What's the weather like in your hometown? So this gives you the opportunity to explain what the weather is like. Well, yeah, it's not as good as it is here. When I left home, it was 7 degrees and wet, or, it's been raining for most of the month. So I'm really glad to get here and enjoy some warmer weather. So again, an opening, an opportunity for you to tell the person what you think about the weather and the weather conditions and the type of weather that you really like. Yeah. And you might then start, well, I don't really like it too hot. Perhaps that's just because I've been born in a colder climate. Sunny days are great, but if I can avoid the sun, I try to do that. Yeah. So again, it's just a way to explain what you like about the weather, what you don't like about the weather, what you like about the cold weather, what you like about the warm weather, what your preferences are. So all nice weather-related small talk. Now, at the beginning, we spoke about small talk relating to somebody that you didn't really know that well. But if you know somebody quite well, but you haven't seen them for a while, then there are different types of small talk phrases and expressions that we can use. So this is about somebody you do know, but you haven't met them or you haven't seen them for a while. So very simply, you could ask, how have you been? It's ages since I met you. Or it's ages since I've seen you, or I haven't heard from you for ages. So just expressions you can use when you're meeting or talking to somebody that you haven't seen for a while. So you're asking someone generally about how they've been since the last time you met. And that could be 6 months, 6 weeks, 18 months, whatever time it takes. The questions will be the same. How have you been? I haven't seen you for ages. How are you getting on? It's great to see you again. Okay, so all about asking after the person that you've met for and haven't seen for a long time. And then you might follow that up by asking them, and what have you been up to lately? So why have I not seen you for such a long time? What have you been up to lately? Well, I've been spending a lot of time at home, or been spending a lot of time traveling. I changed my job actually, so it's really kept me busy. So again, the explanation as to why you haven't seen that person for a while. And then again, if you haven't seen them for a while, the conversation might get around to things like holidays. Did you manage to get away for a holiday last year? So you might ask them, if you haven't seen them for a long time, did you manage to get away for a holiday last year? And so they might say, yeah, we did actually, even though I changed my job. In between the jobs, I had a few weeks, so we took a holiday. So we went just to the continent, just to sort of sit back and relax, because I knew I was going to be really busy in the new job. So again, they explain what they did, where they went, and then you can ask questions about that. Oh yeah, well, it's really great to get away, even if it's only for a week or 10 days. If you haven't seen them for a while, the talk might then get around to families. Okay, so you might ask, how's your family doing? Or how's the family? How are the kids? How's the missus? Is a sort of a slang word for the wife. Yeah, how's Mary? How's Michael? I remember your sister was expecting a baby. So all these sort of well-known phrases that are more intimate than the person that you don't really know. So you're asking about the sister who's expecting a baby, how his wife is, how the kids are doing, just general information to get up-to-date information on his family. So as we spend over a third of our working life and each of our days in our offices or wherever we work, conversations with colleagues are really important over tea breaks, lunch breaks, Friday evenings, Monday mornings. Okay, so we've covered lots of issues around weekends, but there are also other types of conversations that we can have. So somebody might be just asking over the cup of tea or coffee, did you hear about? So there may be some news about the office, some promotion, somebody leaving, something's happened, so there's information that some people just happen to get that others don't get. So did you hear about some recent news event? Yeah, I heard about it. It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's really great development. So if it's good news, then everybody's talking about it. Or if somebody's left or somebody's ill. Oh yeah, that's really, really sad. I mean, they're going to be out of work for ages and ages. So we might be talking about somebody's health or somebody's well-being. Or simply, how's your day going so far? Just a very simple update. Oh, don't ask. I mean, the day has been absolutely terrible. I knew it was going to be like this. I got up this morning and I just had a feeling it was going to be one of those days. So, yeah, the question, how's your day going so far? Or how's it going for you? Or how are things? And this will all lead into somebody complaining or telling you, great. Actually, in fact, I think it's one of the best days I've had in weeks. So they just give you some information, or if it happens to be a Friday, usually the response you'll get, well, thank God it's Friday. Yeah. So, I can't wait for this week to be over. So how's your day so far? How's it going? What's happened for you? Or, what are you planning? So all the different really small expressions and phrases that you can use to get those conversations going. Now, people, as I said earlier, like sport. And if it's midweek on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, then the question over the cup of coffee might be, did you catch the game last night? Did you happen to see the game on TV last night? Were you watching the game last night? So all different ways to ask somebody, did they see the football game? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I really did. It was a cracker. I mean, I don't think I've seen a game like that for months and months. Yeah, in fact, my team were playing last night, so I was riveted to the seat. I was really nervous. So again, opening up the conversation about somebody's favorite football team or catching up on the game. Or as I said, did you catch the game last night? Did you happen to see the game last night? Were you watching the game last night? And somebody might say, well, no, I had to go out for a business meeting, but I got it on the recorder, so I'll watch it later tonight. So don't tell me the score. So now we're going to just look again at small talk in the business environment. As I said at the very beginning, before a meeting or at the end of a meeting, before a conference or the end of the conference, lots of small talk opportunities. So just because we're in a business environment doesn't necessarily mean that all the conversations will be about business, but they can be. But here are some small talk opportunities. So if you've been listening to a presentation made by one of your colleagues, you could simply say at the coffee break, if you don't mind me saying so, I really enjoyed your presentation. If you don't mind me saying so, I really enjoyed your presentation. So it's a very polite way to get the conversation going and to give somebody or to pay somebody a compliment. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you found it interesting, or I'm glad you found it enjoyable. Yeah. It was really good to get so much feedback. The questions were really great, and everybody seemed to be interested. Okay, so conversation about a presentation that you were listening to. Somebody might ask you, are you working on any interesting projects right now? Or you can ask somebody else, are you working on any interesting projects right now? And the answer might be, yeah, I'm collaborating with our marketing department on a new product. It's taken up a lot of time, but I think it's going to be really, really interesting. I'm going to learn a lot. Okay, so here again, opportunity to tell somebody what you're doing, what the project is, perhaps how long it's going to take. Yeah, and if it's something you haven't done for a while, something you were really interested in getting into, and you're really grateful for the chance or the opportunity to work in or alongside or with the marketing team. Have you attended any workshops or conferences recently? So again, a general question that you can ask your colleagues. Have you attended any conferences or workshops recently? Well, I recently attended a leadership course. This was really, really good. Some really clever ideas, some really insightful information, and a lot of it from personal experience of the speakers. They were excellent. You could tell why they are good leaders. Okay, so yeah, I was on a leadership course recently, and then opportunity to explain what it was, how you found it, what information you got. Even though you didn't enjoy all of it, there were some really good bits and pieces to take away. What do you enjoy most about your job? You might get cornered at a business lunch or a business party, and maybe you're somebody new to the organization or you don't know so many people in other departments. A nice question to ask them, very open question, is what do you enjoy most about your job? So the person that you're asking has the opportunity to tell you, oh, I like working with the people here. I like working on projects. I like dealing with our customers. I like planning, whatever it might be. So there's great way in which they can open up and you can nod your head in agreement and make some sounds that, oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah, so it's a good way to entertain and get involved in that particular small talk. And then a question about this particular business, if somebody's in marketing or somebody's in IT, whatever they happen to be, their expertise, you could ask them, and how did you get started in this industry? What made you pick this company? Or why did you decide on marketing as a career? Why did you decide on IT or engineering, whatever it might be? Okay, so how did you get started? What got you interested? And then the question might be, well, my father was an accountant, and my mother was a teacher, my brother was an engineer. So it seemed to run in the family. Okay, so they come back with that sort of response. Or they might just say, well, actually, I got an intern position here 5 or 6 years ago in my second or third year of university. And then when I finished, they actually offered me a full-time position. So when I finished my course, wow, it was great. I had a job to come into and I didn't have to spend much time searching for a job. And guess what? I've been here ever since. Okay, so again, small talk about how they got into the company and the whole issue about their internship. How long have you been working in your current role? So that's a nice, easy question for you to ask somebody. How long have you been working in your current role? When did you change? Who are you reporting to? So these are nice, easy questions to ask, and somebody then will give you a nice response. Oh, I've been working in this role now for 6 months. Actually, before that, I was in the finance unit, or before that, I was actually in HR, but I fancied a change. This opportunity came up, so I applied for it, and luckily I got it. Okay, so again, open questions, and with open questions, enable the person you're asking to expand, give you more information, and give you more opportunity to ask other questions that are related to that, and the whole conversation will develop. So if you just ask very closed questions like did you, or are you, or have you, then you're just going to get a yes or a no answer. And it's really, really important, as you've seen from the examples I've given you, to ask as many open questions as possible. The benefit here is that you don't have to participate so much in the conversation if you're a little bit nervous, okay? So it gives the other person the opportunity to give you information. Then they will ask you a very similar open question, and that, if you wish, gives you the opportunity to tell them a little bit more about you. So it's all about placing the questions in the right place, in the right order, so it helps you to move along in this whole chain of events that we call small talk. Now, if we're talking about conversations, there's always the chat time when, as I said, when we open a conversation about asking somebody who they are and what they do and where did they work and where have they come from, all those. So those are the opening small talk questions. But if it's coming to the end of the coffee break or the end of the lunch break or the dinner is about to end, so you want some questions and small talk issues that will help you to close conversations. So, very simple. Well, it's time to go. It's been a real pleasure getting to know you. It's been a real pleasure meeting you. And likewise, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, perhaps we'll catch up again at one of these events in the future. Okay, so a nice opening, a nice way to end it, and perhaps a new colleague, a new business friend, whatever it might be. Okay. It was, and so for example, the person that you hadn't seen for 18 months or 6 months, whatever it was, wow, well, it was nice seeing you again. Let's make sure it's not so long the next time, okay? So a nice way for you to say to the person, yeah, it was great to see you again, and don't make it so long the next time. Let's catch up again soon, okay? So it was nice seeing you. Let's catch up again soon. Give my regards to your partner. give my regards to Mike, so whoever it might be, to let them know that you really did enjoy the time that you had together. And the response you might get from them is something, yeah, it's great catching up with you too. Let's make sure we arrange to have a coffee or a bite to eat, or the next time you're in town, or the next time you're coming by this way, just send me an email in advance and make sure to catch up. Okay? Well, I better get going now. It was really nice talking to you. So if you have to dive out of the coffee break, or you have to leave the conference to catch a train, you say, well, look, I better get going now, but it was really nice meeting you. So put the emphasis on that. It was really nice meeting you, so the other person understands that you weren't wasting your time and that you weren't bored, but you did enjoy the conversation. You did enjoy catching up with the person. So yeah, I better get going. I have a train to catch, but it was really nice talking to you. It was really nice meeting you. Let's keep in touch. So the other person might say, yeah, same here. Same goes for me. Let's keep in touch. At the end of the coffee break or the end of the lunch, then you might say to them, well, look, I'll let you get back to your day. I'm sure you've got lots of things to do. I know I have, but it was nice seeing you. So I'll let you get back to your day and I'll get on with my work. Say, yeah, that sounds good. It was great seeing you too. Okay, and something really casual might be just something like, well, I'll see you around. Take care, yeah, or next time, or until next time, yeah, cheers, and good luck, yeah. So there's all just different ways in which you can close the conversation in a polite way, in a friendly way, and a way that leaves the door open, that the person you've met gets to know you a little bit, you get to know them, and the opportunity will be there in the future. And of course, what will happen is that you've broken the ice, because we always talk about breaking the ice during small talk. You've broken the ice, so perhaps the next time you meet them, it'll be just a nice waves. How are you? Good to see you. What have you been doing since the last time we met? Here we are again. These conferences come round so quickly. So you get in and you fall into the conversation nice and easily. Okay, so that's the end of this particular lesson, all about advancing your small talk opportunities. Very simple phrases, as you can hear, very simple open questions, the emphasis being on open questions that you can ask that will get the ball rolling, and somebody will take up the running and then will ask you similar questions so that you can join in the conversation. So if you need any more help or assistance, or if you've had problems with small talk in the past, you're still nervous about it, well, come back to me on www.englishlessonviaskype.com, and I try to help you with some other examples where I can. So remember to come and join me for the next lesson. So Harry's saying goodbye and thanks for watching.